Welcome to Xiao Zhan Universe. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video with your friends. The hum of the stage lights felt like a familiar frequency to Wang Yibo, a constant data stream his synaptic choreography effortlessly parsed. He sat on a minimalist chair, facing a live audience and a smiling interviewer, the air thick with anticipation. The questions had been standard: Project Chimera City's latest innovations, the Etheria transport system, his thoughts on the future of integrated tech. Then, the interviewer leaned forward, her voice dropping to a knowing, almost conspiratorial tone. "Mr. Wang," she began, her eyes sharp, "the public has long speculated about your type. What kind of person truly captures the attention of the architect of tomorrow? What is Wang Yibo's ideal partner?" A ripple of excitement went through the audience. Yibo's composure remained unblemished. His mind, however, immediately began to process the question. "Ideal partner," he repeated internally, a phrase that triggered a cascade of complex data. He didn't think in terms of fleeting attraction or superficial traits. He thought in terms of compatibility matrices, resonance frequencies, system integration. He began to speak, his voice calm, almost clinical. "My type is not defined by external variables. It is defined by internal architecture, by the capacity for complex system compatibility, by the unique ability to navigate and enrich a nonlinear data flow." He gestured vaguely, his hand almost imperceptibly tracing intricate patterns in the air, his synaptic choreography subtly activated, unconsciously beginning to visualize his thoughts. "My ideal partner would be someone who provides optimal equilibrium to my core processing unit, while simultaneously offering novel, enriching input that prevents stagnation." The audience shifted, a collective sigh of polite bewilderment. The interviewer blinked, clearly underwhelmed. This was Wang Yibo, the genius, the enigma, giving a perfectly logical, utterly unromantic answer. He had quantified type, and it sounded like a spec sheet. Thousands of miles away, in their house Chimera, Xiao Zhan watched the broadcast, a wry smile playing on his lips. He felt the ripple of disappointment from the audience, sensed Yibo's clinical detachment. Jean knew what Yibo was trying to convey, but he also knew words alone, especially Yibo's logical words, could never truly explain the mind-blowing truth of their connection. Back on stage, Yibo sensed the audience's disengagement. His logical answer had failed to transmit the profound truth. He closed his eyes for a fraction of a second, a silent decision made. Words were insufficient. He would use his true language. What happened next was not a grand public display, but a subtle, deeply personal, and utterly mind-blowing internal projection that Yibo broadcasted directly through his own resonance key, unknowingly creating a faint, palpable field of emotional resonance around him that would affect those sensitive enough to perceive it. Inside Yibo's mind, a hyper-realistic, multi-sensory simulation began. The interviewer and the audience vanished, replaced by the vast, shimmering expanse of his internal synaptic loom. Here he could truly show, not tell. First, the loom manifested a single, blindingly pure blue light, pulsating with perfect rhythmic precision. This was Yibo himself, the architect, the master of order, the logic that built worlds. Then, from the depths of the loom, a second light appeared. A swirling, vibrant, utterly chaotic vortex of golden light. This was Jean. Not a person, but the essence of his empathic projection. Raw, unquantifiable emotion, boundless empathy, beautiful disarray. Yibo's internal dialogue began, projected as clear, resonant thought forms in the loom. "My logical systems, initially, perceived this chaos as a threat, a destabilizing variable." The blue light pulsed defensively, attempting to erect crystalline barriers around itself. But then, the golden vortex surged, not aggressively, but with an inherent, undeniable force. This chaos did not seek to destroy. It sought to integrate, to fill the logical voids, to infuse meaning into pure structure. The golden light flowed around the crystalline barriers, not breaking them, but softening their edges, flowing through their intricate patterns, making them glow with an inner warmth. Yibo's internal projection then showed scenes of their shared life, rendered not as images, but as pure data. The Etheria vehicle, soaring, but now, its precise trajectory guided by the golden light's intuitive flow, not just Yibo's calculations. The house Chimera, its clean lines given warmth and life by the soft, emotional hues Jean projected. Their child, its tiny, unpredictable gurgles generating complex, beautiful patterns of golden light that flowed into Yibo's structured systems, constantly enriching and expanding his logical capacity. The golden light wrapped around the blue, not suppressing it, but complementing it. Jean's chaos made Yibo's order richer, more resilient, more profoundly alive. The internal projection shifted, showing a perfect, intricate dance where the blue crystalline structures now moved in symbiotic harmony with the golden vortex, each element enhancing the other. They were no longer separate. They were two parts of a single, evolving, and infinitely complex system. My type, Yibo's internal voice concluded, the thought form resonating with profound conviction, is not about a predefined form. It is about a fundamental, symbiotic requirement. It is the unquantifiable chaos that gives meaning to my order, the boundless emotion that breathes soul into my logic. It is the only variable that truly completes my equation. The internal projection culminated in the golden light and the blue light merging, not dissolving into each other, but forming a single, mind-blowing, shimmering entity that resembled the living, breathing heart of Chimera City itself. A testament to a love that was not just emotional, but foundational. On the stage, Wang Yibo's eyes were still fixed on the camera. He hadn't uttered another word. But the interview studio, the audience, and the millions watching globally were not silent. A palpable, emotional energy had filled the space, growing steadily, powerfully. People in the audience, initially confused, now felt a profound sense of awe, a wave of warmth washing over them that brought tears to their eyes. It wasn't sadness. It was the direct, unquantifiable feeling of deep, unconditional love, a truth so pure it bypassed all defenses. They felt the perfect harmony of two souls, perfectly intertwined, a resonance so strong it brought a collective, silent understanding. Xiao Zhan, watching from their house chimera, felt the immense, pure emotional broadcast from Yibo. He recognized the intricate language, the silent symphony of Yibo's soul. He knew Yibo was showing the world not just what he felt, but why. Zhan's own empathic projection surged, amplifying Yibo's silent declaration, sending his own boundless love and understanding back into the collective consciousness, solidifying the profound truth of the moment. The interviewer, her face wet with tears, could only manage a shaky whisper. I think we all understand now, Mr. Wang. Yibo simply gave a small, almost imperceptible nod, a quiet confirmation. He had explained why Xiao Zhan was his type, not with words, but with a mind-blowing, visceral experience that transcended all logic, all labels, and all doubt. Stay tuned to Yibo Universe for updates, exclusive breakdowns, and emotional reactions as the story unfolds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because this miracle might just be real. The interviewer's smile was gone, replaced by a look of profound, tear-filled awe. The audience was silent, not with polite bewilderment, but with a palpable, shared emotional truth that had bypassed all logic and defenses. Wang Yibo had not just answered a question, he had broadcasted the very essence of his soul. The Chimera Resonance, as the event was quickly dubbed, became the world's most watched and felt phenomenon, a public declaration of love that was so real, so profound, it had been experienced, not just seen. The aftermath was a seismic shift. The world, which had once craved drama and scandal, was now hungry for truth. Yibo and Xiao Zhan, in the quiet of their house chimera, felt the profound change. Their bond, once a private sanctuary, was now a public wellspring of creation, and they knew they had to use this new reality to build something even more mind-blowing than Chimera City. Their first post-interview project was not a technical marvel, but an artistic one. Inspired by the interview, they decided to create a public art installation for the city that would be a living, breathing demonstration of the Chimera Resonance. It would be a permanent invitation for the public to feel the kind of truth Yibo had so effortlessly broadcasted. Yibo's synaptic choreography built the physical structure, a vast, spiraling helix of iridescent light and sound that rose from the city's main plaza. It was a masterpiece of precise engineering, a constantly shifting, elegant form that responded to the time of day and the flow of traffic. It was beautiful, but it was just a shell. Jean, however, was the heart of the project. He infused the helix with his empathic projection, creating a core emotional purpose for the art piece. The mind-blowing spectacle began when the public interacted with it. As people walked past, the helix would sense their collective emotions, a mix of joy, stress, curiosity, and peace. But instead of just reflecting those feelings, The helix would process them and then broadcast back a feeling of profound harmony and connection, a direct result of Yibo and Jean's combined work. The first day was a mind-blowing success. A group of strangers stood near the helix, and as it responded to their various emotions, they all felt a wave of shared serenity wash over them. They began to talk, smiling, feeling a connection that had been absent just moments before. The installation wasn't just a work of art, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of empathy, a constant public mind meld that was healing the very fabric of society one shared emotion at a time. The entertainment industry, once a source of constant pressure and fabrication, was forced to adapt to this new reality. They could no longer create drama where there was none. Instead, a major studio approached Yibo and Jean with a new, mind-blowing proposal. They wanted to fund and produce a film, but on the condition that Yibo and Jean would star in and produce it, using their unique abilities and chimera technology to tell a story that had never been told before. Yibo and Jean agreed, but on their own terms. The film was not a traditional drama, but a powerful, emotional story of two people finding each other in a cold, chaotic world. The most mind-blowing scene was a simple conversation between the two protagonists, a scene that was a microcosm of Yibo and Jean's own love story. The set was a masterpiece of collaborative genius. Yibo, using his synaptic choreography, created a holographic set that was not static, but a living, breathing reflection of the scene's emotional truth. The background changed, the ambient light shifted, all in real time, responding directly to the emotional current of the moment. Jean, in turn, used his empathic projection to project the emotions of the scene not just to Yibo, but to the camera, and ultimately, to the audience. The result was a new, mind-blowing form of cinematic experience. The audience didn't just watch the scene, they felt it. When the character expressed sadness, the audience felt a deep, profound ache in their own hearts. When the characters finally came together, the audience felt a wave of overwhelming, visceral joy. It was a direct, emotional mind meld with the audience, a new form of storytelling that transcended the screen and turned a film into a shared, emotional journey. It was a testament to the idea that true art, like true love, was not something to be observed, but to be experienced. The story ends with Yibo and Jean, in the privacy of their home, watching the final cut of the film. They had used the very interview meant to be a simple answer as the starting point for a revolution. Their bond, once a private sanctuary, was now a public wellspring of creation, and they were not just partners in a relationship, but architects of a new era of art, technology, and human connection. They had redefined what it meant to be in love, and in doing so, they had given the world a mind-blowing glimpse into the power of a heart that was not just open, but fully expressed.